Welcome to South Asia Maps, educational, intellectually oriented channel for building intellectualism in the Indian society. We cover very deeply, I cover the cultural geographical knowledge about the South Asian region, south of Karakoram Mountains here, north of Kanyakumari here. The topic today by your articulate presenter J. Reddy is British imperialism, railway line building by British set in historical musing. This talk is not just putting a map and showing what are the stations between Howrah and Delhi. It is the complete story and an integrated view that I emphasize. That's what this channel is targeted for the audience, for serious articulation of the cultural heritage of South Asia. India railway lines from Howrah to Delhi, which I cover in 3 main topics, and there are also 2 more subsidiary topics about the Grand Line, Grand-CHORD and Grand-CHORD. We'll deal it later. This is Howrah-Delhi main line via Gaya. The Grand-CHORD. When you see Gaya, remember the Chord line. Why it is called a Grand-CHORD, I will come later. That's not. So, what is the context I am talking? You see, I covered this topic in 3 parts. Okay, let me minimize the picture, you will get it. And so that audience will have a clarity. The first part is called Sahibganj Loop Line. You can see that video excuse me, for more clarity on Sahibganj. You pay the attention to Loop Line 1 and you see the icon Sahibganj. That is put purposefully so that audience can see these 3 different videos. Next is this the same. Next is we are Howrah-Delhi Railway Line history. There are 3 ways. Second way through the main line, that is the Kiyul line. Main line is Kiyul line, KLM, Kiyul and main. Grand-CHORD is G, Gaya. So this is the part 2. I covered that before. The third part is the Gaya Junction line. The Grand-CHORD is a chord line. That brings into the concept, what is a chord line, what is a loop line, what is the main line. I will cover that in detail some other time later. It is sufficient now if we audience have this idea. We are starting with Howrah, Calcutta, the British capital at the time 1800s, and we want to go to Delhi, Ghaziabad. Initially the train only went to Ghaziabad from Howrah. It didn't start with Calcutta, it didn't end with Delhi, Indraprastha, because the bridges were not built at that time. Later they were built. So Howrah Delhi line is essentially is a Mughalsarai Delhi line. This is always common for all these 3 lines. So essentially we are dealing from Howrah to Mughalsarai Junction, that is east side of river Ganga. On the west side there is a Varanasi sacred historic Benares city resides. At that time there was no railway bridge. At that time the train didn't cross. Train never crossed initial stages Ganga river. There is no need, because the British First Empire won the Battle of Palasi. This is a Bhagirath river, close to Bhagirath river in the Nadia Murshidabad district, Palasi, and Nawab's capital was Murshidabad or Qasim Bajar in the Murshidabad district east of Bhagirath river or Hooghly river. Their capital, British, was at Calcutta. When they start building the line, they started with Howrah because it's easy to go to Delhi without building the bridge. So that is the first line was Sahibganj line. Second line was the built. I dealt with Kiyul line, Devagar line, Madhupur line. When this line, Kiyul line was built, this became a main line. Main line means important line. Also, Chord line means shortest line. That was the shortest line, also called Chord line or main line. Sahibganj here became the loop line. Then what is the chord? Chord is always a mathematical term, means between the 2 points, Howrah and Mughalsarai. The shortest railway line you can build, go to the chord, shortest line if you draw. Whereas the Kiyul way is much longer, Sahibganj way is much more longer. So he says this becomes a loop line, this becomes the main line, this becomes the chord line. Why the chord is called grand chord, we will deal some other time, that's not important here. We are dealing with grand chord line. Chord line means, always remember, it starts with Sitarampur. Chord line means a Gaya line. Chord line is a Dhanbad line. Here I had mentioned those important towns briefly without cluttering for audience. Howrah, Bharadman. This Howrah, Bharadman. Then you have Kana. Kana line, Kana, Siuri, and Ahmadpur, and Santiniketan, and Pakkur, and Sahibganj. That goes there. That is the Kana. Then west is Raniganj. The Raniganj, Chitaranjan, and Madhupur, Devagar, Jamui, Kiyul. Then we have Durgapur and Andol, and we come to Sitarampur. Then the train goes to, in Jharkhand, Sitarampur, Dhanbad, Gomo, Parashnath, and Guzhati. That is bordered to Bihar today, bifurcated Bihar. That means now Guzhati is in Jharkhand province or Vanachal province. Gaya, it goes to, this is the Sone river, crosses Sone at Dehri Nagar, Dehripur, Dehri. Then goes to east, in the Sonepar region, this is Mirzapur hills. Then you have Sasaram, then goes to Mokhamiya, and finally goes to Chandauli and Mughalsarai. It stops there. Thus the story ends. From Mughalsarai, all the 3 lines take the same route. So the same route means, so remember, all the 3 lines never cross Ganga. There is no need to build any bridge because Delhi, Indraprastha is the west of Ganga river. So there is no need anywhere. So after Mughalsarai, looking across Benares, it goes to Chunar. This is the Kaimur, Mirzapur region, Mirzapur district will be there, and Rihand Dam will be there. Here this is the Kaimur hills, and this is the Sonepar region, this is the Mirzapur hills, the offshoots of the Vindhya mountains. It goes to Chunar, Mirzapur, and crosses the Yamuna river, first time the major river, enters into the Doab region. What is the Doab? The Doab is essentially between 2 rivers, Ganga river and Yamuna river. That is the Doab region. We are not talking about Doab region in Punjab. That is Jalandhar, Kapurthala, Hoshiarpur, Nakodar, those regions. That's also the Doab. This is the popular Doab, Uttar Pradesh Doab, United Provinces Doab. So we are in the Doab region. This is lower Doab. You have Fatehgarh district here, we have Kanpur district here, we have a Etawah district, we have Etawah district, Mainpuri district, Etawah district, and parts of Agra district, and we have Aligarh district, and we have Bulandshahr district, and we have Meerut district, and we have Muzaffarnagar district, and Saharanpur district. Those are all Doab region. So from Allahabad, Prayag, Tirthraj, Triveni Sangam, the train continues west, Fatehpur town, Then the Kanpur, the important British cantonment area at that time. We see the Nawabi territory, Awadh Nawab, Ayodhya Nawab. At Lucknow, his capital administrative center, previously it was on Saryu River, Gagra River. At Faizabad or Ayodhya town. So Lucknow, I have just demarcated the Lucknow district here. We have Barabanki here and we have Unova here, Raebarya, Medipur, Sultanpur and so on. So we are in Kanpur cantonment city. It goes to Etawah. It goes to Etawah. At Shikohabad in the main Puri district and Firozabad goes to Tundla. From Tundla, now the railway line is built across the Yamuna, crossing the Yamuna again to Agra town, the historic Mughal imperial center, Agra. This is the Yamuna river, this is the Yamuna Par region, across the Yamuna. That means the standard Madras, Chennapatnam and Delhi line goes to there. You have Gwalior here, Chambal, Agra and Mathura and Faridabad, Delhi. This train need not go there because not necessary. And we are trying to go to Ghaziabad. From Tundla, it goes to Aligarh or Ramgarh or Koil town. Then goes to Ghaziabad. Other branch goes to Bulandshahr and Meerut city and all those areas, Sitarampur, eventually crosses Yamuna near Jagadri and goes to Ambala cantonment of British Punjab at that time. So that is about the Gaya Junction. The chord line. We go and we look at this in a different perspective. We look at this in a different perspective here. Yeah. Remember, this chord line was built in 1907. The first line was built in 1866, almost 40 years later. At that time, symbolically, the Governor General of India and Viceroy Crown Representative of British Crown, successor of Lord Curzon, called Lord Minto, came to Bihar at that time, Bengal president, is Bihar, near Guzhandi. There is a town called Guzhandi, close to Gaya, east of Gaya, where he formally inaugurated this line, the chord line from Sitarampur to Mughalsarai, that is the Gaya line, Guzhandi line, Dhanbad line, the chord line, the shortest line. Here, I am showing, this is, I think I should be showing you the third part, but I am showing you only the second part at that time. And anyway, and this is like the same way, different perspective we can see. The Patna, this is after Allahabad, the train going to Fatehpur, train going to Kanpur, train going to Etawah, train going to Tundla, the train going to Aligarh and Ghaziabad. We can see in the other perspective. This is the chord line. We are looking Howrah to Delhi railway line and Calcutta, the Burdwan, the major corridor, the Grand-Trunk route that was originally built by the Mauryan kings Chandragupta and Ashoka, extensively used by the Gupta dynasty. Later the Islamic imperialist Mughals and Sher Shah Suri also used it and updated it. Then British finally made use of it. We are in the Durgapur region, and Durgapur, Raniganj range, Chittaranjan. This is the second line, Q line. Then we have Asansol and Kulti somewhere here. Sitarampur will be here. Sitarampur, I don't want to go to zoom too much so that I don't want you lose the major point. Dhanbad, then it goes in the actually Hazaribagh plateau region, that is the low-lying region. In fact, the highest distance height it covers is around about 330 meters or so near Kodorma, that is near Parashnath area in Jharkhand, and we are in the Hazaribagh plateau is much lower than the surrounding Dhanbad plateau, and it doesn't go to Kodorma, goes to coast to Kodorma actually. That's the major town in that area. And where are we? Yeah, we are in Gaya. It enters excuse me. Yeah, we are in Gaya. I want to show you Gazhandi, if possible, where the Lord Minto, Fatehpur, near Kodorma, Gazhandi will be somewhere here. Gazhandi, I'm not sure it is shown here. Anyway, yeah, we are in the Gaya. The sacred city goes to Gaya, and from Gaya it goes to Rafiganj and Dehri, then goes to Sasaram. This is the Son river, Sonpar plains. This is the Mirzapur mountains. South you see the Kaimur mountains, and finally it goes to Mughalsarai, Mokema, Mughalsarai. Mughalsarai it goes to Chunar. Once you cross Mughalsarai, that is almost the termination point. From there, all the three lines take the same route, like Chunar and Mirzapur and Allahabad. Once they go into Allahabad, then go to Fatehpur. You can see the Fatehpur, then the Kanpur cantonment, then go to Etawah, then go to Firozabad, Shikohabad. You see, excuse me, Firozabad, Shikohabad will be somewhere here. Tundla will be somewhere here. Ahmedpur, I don't know where is Tundla here. Yeah, then it goes to Aligarh and those places. That is about the grand, and before that I will show this map that will be more useful to you. I collected this map from Google search. The presenter has given a lot of good information, really liked it. I added some my own and added some points and colored it, thickened it so that you can see. We see the three important lines. We are in Calcutta here, Delhi, Ghaziabad somewhere here, and we are only concerned in Mughalsarai Junction. And the first line, Sahibganj line, was built in 1866. It is 1682 kilometers. This is the Rajmahal Hills, and Sahibganj will be somewhere here. Second line, the Kiyul line, was built 5 years later, 1871. That is 1532 kilometers. Kiyul goes to the Patna. Sahibganj line, Kiyul line goes via Patna. Because the Patna and this area is economically so important, that's the main line. The third line, that means almost 41 years later, that is 1443 kilometers. Chord line is 1443, Kiyul line is 1532, almost 100 kilometers difference. And the next line is 100 kilometers more, that is Sahibganj loop. They were built originally 1866, 5 years later 1871. Almost 40 years later in 1906, Gaya line, and this is the from Raniganj, Sitarampur, I have put it here, and Dhanbad, Gomo, and Topanchi, and near Kodorma, the Guzhandi, and Gaya, and Dehri, that Sonnagar, and Sasram to the destination Mughalsarai or Deen Dayal Upadhyaya Nagar. What are the important topographical features the line covers? I mentioned here briefly. This is the moribund Ganga Delta or Bengal Delta, and we have the Purulia plains here. We have This is Damodar Valley Plains. The Dhanbad, entire Damodar Valley up to Dhanbad, it goes through Jharkhand. Here you can see the more steeper Ranchi Plateau. It doesn't go to Ranchi Plateau. It skips the Hazaribagh Plateau. That is here you have Damodar Trough. Here the Barkar River and Damodar River, they meet near Pinchet Reservoir, somewhere close to Bengal and Dhanbad, Jharkhand region here. And so this is the Hazaribagh Plateau. Gomo Hazaribagh Plateau enters into the Bihar Plains and Gaya, and you have Son Park Plains, and enters into Ganga Park Plains. South of that enters into the lower Doab and enters into upper Doab, crosses Yamuna and Delhi region. The highest point is round about in the Hazaribagh Plateau region near Kodorma and Guzhanti. This is the place where Lord Minto inaugurated the train officially first time, and round about in Hazaribagh Plateau 300 meters. Most of the time in the Calcutta, Howrah, this will be like 10-15 meters, maximum 10 meters above sea level only, and the Delhi Ghaziabad is round about 250 meters above sea level, and the highest point near the Hazaribagh Plateau near the Kodorma region, Guzhanti, will be round about 330 meters or 50 meters and so on. That is in brief about the fascinating, the third part, that is our Delhi Howrah, Indian railway history, British railway history, and we covered 3 presentations on Howrah-Delhi 3 ways. The Grand-CHORD, or chord is the last part, this is the red part. Previously we also covered the Kiyul part. Kiyul Jamui, Raniganj was the starting point. That is now become the main line, the most important economically, freight and traffic. Then the original line, that's the main line, the only one line, becomes the loop line, Shahib-Ganj line. So always pay which part we are talking. We'll see the Gaya Junction here. Since the first part you'll see Shahib-Ganj railway station. Second part you'll see the Kiyul Junction. This is your presenter, J. Reddy, at South Asia, and we try to bring the fascinating cultural, geographical, historical heritage of Bharat, south of Karakoram River, north of Kanyakumari, in the South Asia maps or Greater India maps. Please encourage our educational channel. Appreciate your effort, encouragement, criticisms, comments, suggestions, and see you later in other parts. We are now wandering in British India, railway history of British Raj. I already covered Madras Bombay line, that is Mumbai Chennapatnam line, linking Madras Presidency and Bombay Presidency. I covered in 3 parts the linking Bengal Presidency, traversing the United Provinces of Agra and Awadh, UP, connecting the Punjab province. At that time Delhi was in Punjab province, you have to keep in mind, for a lot of years. And we will continue our journey. Thank you very much. This is your presenter, J. Reddy.